Hi everyone, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. I'm going to show you today how to make this Nightmare Before Christmas inspired baby stroller scene piece thing. And if you like what you see, please like, please subscribe, and here we go. All right, we're going to start with the moon. The moon is going to be a big circle. I think it was about 3 inches here, and yes, I'm doing something different. I'm actually using my little Wilton mat. I don't remember why, but I was. Anyway, make your moon, cut it out, nice and big. It's what everything's going to be based on, so it's got to be a good size. And it's got to be kind of on the thicker side because it's got to support everything too. This white I rolled out is, I want to say maybe 1/4 of an inch thick. And that's going to be the swirly, snow-covered mountain thing that our silhouettes are going to stand on. And basically you're making kind of like a big old elf cap shape out of it. You see what I did there with the flat on the bottom, and make sure you taper it long and pointy as it goes off and to the left, because that's how the image is in the movie. Now I'm just going to place it on the moon just so I can start spacing everything and getting a feel of how everything is going to sit. When you place the moon, you got to leave room, or I'm sorry, when you place the mountain on the moon, you've got to make sure you leave room on the top of it for the silhouettes to be drawn in later. So don't put it too high up, and you gotta see what I'm doing here with the knife. I'm making kind of like a little flat area for them to stand on, basically kind of a platform. So once you have that spaced out, curl the tip around like I showed you there, or like I just did, and then trim off the extra on the bottom. It needed more water. That's what I'm using to attach everything. So that's what I'm doing right there. And I know that one white piece on the end is kind of drooping down, but don't worry, we're going to fix all that stuff. So yeah, we're going to basically build up behind it. That's what this white piece is that I'm using here. I just rolled it out so it's the same thickness as the moon. And basically tuck it behind with a little, place it with some water. And then you're good to go. You know, just let everything dry. I'm building everything too on top of the paper towel so I can move it around without disturbing any of the pieces until they dry and set. So you don't want to be moving this around if you can help it, because there's a lot to it. All right, this is a piece of brown. I don't know, let's see, about 1, 2, 3.5 inches long, I'd say, 4.5 inches long. And it's going to become the tree that I'm going to put over on the end by the moon's right side. So I cut it straight down the middle, and then I cut a fork out of the 2 branches and then cut another fork. So basically just keep forking away at it. And forking, that just reminds me of The Good Place. Anyway, once you get your branches all split up and put in place, place the tree wherever you want it. You do want to keep it more to the side. I had to mail this, so I couldn't have it sticking out because little thin branches would break off, so I try to keep things a little tighter together if I know I'm going to be mailing something. But you guys could actually have yours even more out to the side if you're going to use it yourself, so that'll be nicer for you. And again, a little bit of water, just let it set into place, and there you go. Make sure you seal it all down though. And you also need to make sure, if you are going to have it more on the moon like mine is, that you don't get in the way of the top of that little mountain, because that's where your silhouettes are going to be. You don't want them behind the moon or anything like that. Okay, so you got to watch what you're doing there. All right, and the black, we're going to start the baby stroller now. Nothing says baby strollers or showers or anything like Tim Burton, am I right? Okay, this circle is black. It's about 2 inches big. That's just, you know, your standard cupcake topper size. And I'm going to cut a right angle out of it. Just straight to the center and straight to the center. Try to make as much of a 90-degree angle there as you can. And we're going to build from there. That's going to become the base and the top and everything else. This is purple, rolled out pretty thin. Maybe half an inch thick, but we're going to end up trimming off more of it in just a moment. And what you're going to do with this is start crimpling, that's a word now, crimpling it up. Crimping it and crumpling becomes crimpling. So yeah, we just made a word. Okay, so this is going to become the ruffles that go on the front of the bassinet on the, I don't know, hood part that comes up. So I'm sticking my little pokey tool in there. Don't mind my purple fingers as I just mixed all my colors. And I get stained easily for some reason. So you stick your tool under there and then pinch it with your fingers and kind of lift it up. That'll cause it to wrinkle up, and it will also help it flare out and, just kind of give it a better look to it. And you can do what I'm doing there with your fingers if you get impatient like I did. So either way, you're going to make it kind of rough. Don't make it nice and tidy and neat. It's got to be a little more uneven, just because this is Nightmare Before Christmas and symmetry is not Tim Burton's strong point. Okay, so trim it off like I saw you, or like I saw, geez, you probably saw me put it up to that little wedge that I cut out there, like that. Yes, I'm basically getting a measurement for it. I want it to curl a little bit and kind of flare up and down, so that's why it's pinched at the top and bottom, and I cut off the extra. Got to make sure you have enough to go from the top to the bottom. When you put your water on with your paintbrush, just go along the very edge. Don't go too far because the water makes the black shiny and then it takes a long time to dry. And it's just a pain that if you can avoid it, avoid it. It's not a big deal because it will dry. It's just, ugh, until then you have to look at the shiny spots. So I put it into place, and in order to hold it more in place, I press down on it right on the edge with that tool there. This black that I'm rolling out nice and thin here is going to be the accent pieces for the bassinet cover. I'm going to cover the edge of the ruffle with it. So just put some water along the one edge and then lay it across. That's why we put that little divot in. We pressed down with that one piece. So lay it across just like that. Make it nice and even. I'm showing you all the nitty-gritty details here. And then let it wrap around. Don't cut it right at the top. Let it have enough to wrap around the top, okay? So don't just trim it at the top and leave it blank. Have it wrap it around. And then press it into place gently. You don't want to smush it. You don't want it to get too fat. You could even roll it thinner than I did here if you're better at this than I am. This is my extreme close-up here, and I took another piece, the same stuff we rolled out before. And I'm going to, again, wrap it around the edge and connect it to that center there. And now I'm going to add one more straight out of the middle, basically making our little pie chart here. Again, wrap it around it, straight to the middle, wrap it around the edge, press it into place. Don't press too hard because you don't want to smush it out. And there you go. Now to cover up that centerpiece, I'm going to take a little piece of black, little ball of black, place it right in the center and press it down. Just kind of like a hinge point, basically. And give it a little press. That'll cover it all up and make it look a little tidier. So there you go. All right. And in order to add a little detail, oh geez, I cut that so fast. That was a straw. In case you weren't, psychic and couldn't figure out what the heck I was doing there. It was just a straw to put a circle imprint just to make it look more like a hinge. These are going to be the tires or the wheels for the buggy. I don't know how big they are, maybe 3/4 of an inch. I don't know. Basically do whatever looks right. I have a bunch of circle cutters that are tiered in size, so I can very easily do one step down. So that's the purple again we use for the bassinet ruffle, and it's going to fill in the circle, and just put it in the center and then smush it out to make it fit and look, as round and appropriate as possible. I'm using my rolling pin just to flatten it out and thin it out, make the tires a little bigger. So that kind of is important when you choose your tire size. Figure on going a little bigger. So choose a smaller size to make your initial cut. I'm using my paint stirring stick that I stole from Home Depot just to line up everything, because when it sits, this is going to go on top of the cake, so it has to be able to sit flat and not have, like one buggy wheel floating in the air. It just wouldn't look right. The circle I'm cutting here, that little piece of black, that's hard to see, but you get the idea. It's the same size as the buggy, and I cut it to fit the side of the moon. It's going to support the stroller, because just like our mountain, you don't want it drooping down and behind, because I don't know if you know this or not, but buggies don't typically curve in the middle like the letter S. They're pretty straight. And the same thing for the tire. I'm just giving it a little bit more thickness, the same as the buggy, just so the tire doesn't flop down either. This piece that I'm rolling out that you had to be really quick to see, I'm kind of making like the letter S. You see that there? That's going to become the handle for the buggy. It's going to go over the end there, and it will cover a little bit of the mountain, but that's okay. And now I'm going to show you stuff that I totally screwed up on. You'll see it in a second, but it's coming, so just prepare yourselves. I couldn't get a good angle of me drawing in the people on the moon, and I couldn't, I actually forgot, sorry, to show you how to do the wheel spokes. So this would be the wheel. It's an edible food coloring marker. You basically draw 3 lines, center it as best you can, put a dot in the middle, and there you go. That's how you're going to fill it in. Okay, but this is the part I wanted to show you. This is how you draw Jack and Sally, their silhouette on the moon. This is going to be Jack. This is upside down, sorry guys, but he has a flat head, and it kind of comes out behind, and those little things coming out up there, those little spiky things, are his bow tie. His body starts out very thick. He's got a big, thick rib cage, and then it tapers down to pretty much nothing. Just 2 very thin lines for his legs, and his tail coats kind of float out behind him. And I have them shown like that just because I always draw them kind of walking toward each other when I make these things. So there you go. I'm sorry it's upside down, but I was trying. All right, and Sally, when you draw her, her head is more round. So you just draw her rounded off and a little bit shorter than Jack, but just a little bit. They both have super thin little necks. Her body is basically a rectangle. Her skirt or her dress comes down and is very straight at the bottom. Her legs, again, just draw 2 little lines coming out. But for some reason, she's got like massive calf muscles, so I tried to draw that a little bit. Her hair comes down and kind of flares out behind her, right above her dress line, just 2 lines for their arms. And Jack's are very long, so I tend to draw them bent, as you can see here, and just have their hands connecting, and you can kind of see it. It's not the best or the cleanest, but it gives you the idea. See, it looks a lot better there. All right, so thank you for bearing with me on that one. I hope you like this video and find it helpful for you Nightmare Before Christmas people out there. Check out my many other videos, got lots of NBC stuff out there. And hopefully I will see you guys again. Okay, thank you. Bye.